I'll show y'all how to catch fish on, I guess this is be semi non-traditional plastic, since since we designed this bait to be for a drop shot. This is the long shots, but I'm actually not going to fish it on a drop shot today. This is what it looks like. It's a little skinny little worm, real skinny. This color right here is called mood ring, and we designed it just for like drop shotting, particularly for spotted bass. I'm gonna try to catch me a big old nasty smallmouth on it today, but we're gonna rig it Neko style. All right, Neko style is basically inserting a weight in the head of the bait and hooking it almost like you would a wacky rig. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, this is a Neko weights. If you've ever tried to put a nail weight in any kind of elastic, you'd know it's nearly impossible. You can do it actually. You kind of have to start a hole with some kind of hook or something, but this is what we're going to use. This Neko weights. You see it's got a few little barbs on it. It's got a little sharp wire that you can poke down in the plastic. So it's real easy to use. I'm going to stick it right down in the plastic, just like that. Okay. But this worm will have a lot of action because it's super skinny. I mean, like, it's just very, very skinny. This Neko weights is really designed for another bait that we created specifically for Neko weights called the bang sticks. And you can catch them on that too, but I like doing something wacky and wild. All right, so that's what you got. You see I got my head in here. Then we're gonna hook it. I don't like to hook it in the middle, personally. This is, how long is a long shot? This is 6 inches long. You know, I don't like to hook it dead in the center. I like to go like the end of the first third. So basically if you segmented the bait into 3 parts, the last part near the head is where I like to hook it. So about right there. That bait's going to drop down head first, and when it hits the bottom, this tail is going to float and just make them go, ooh, ooh. It's going to make them go crazy. To give you an idea how skinny this worm is, traditionally with a last tech, like if I was using a bang stick, I wouldn't even use an O-ring, but this plastic is pretty thin. So even when I put a hook through it, there is a chance that it may rip through on a really hard cast. If I'm trying to skip it, it may come loose from the hook. The worm is so skinny that I can't use an O-ring. Like the O-rings, it just doesn't fit around the bait tight enough. Here, I'll show you. I'll take just your traditional O-ring. This is the smallest one you can buy. I know somebody will say, well, you gotta get the smaller one. Well, no, buddy, I got the smaller ones, and it's just too loose. You see, he's sagging. It's almost like wearing a pair of jeans from 1990s. He's baggy, he's sagging. A little hack that you can do, just take a regular drinking straw, like this one. All right, just take a drinking straw, and you can cut you a little piece of the drinking straw, just a little small piece, just a little small slither. I'll just drop that in the boat. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, well, I'm just gonna litter in my boat and cut another piece. Just cut a little small slither of drinking straw. This is all it is right there. You can barely even see it. And then what I'm going to do is just feed my worm, my plastic, right onto the drinking straw. That fits a lot tighter. All right, see, it's clear, the fish can't see it or anything. And then what I'll do is I'll take my hook, and I'm actually going to push my hook through, like I want to penetrate the plastic. At least that's the way I do it. You can put it behind the plastic if you want, but I like to penetrate the plastic. Now all I've done is just reinforced the plastic that was there. And there it is. That's what we're gonna fish today. I probably could even go with a little smaller hook, to be honest with you. That's a Neko rig with the Z-Man long shots, smallmouth. Let's go catch one. Big one. Big one. They like to have worm. Dude, that's a big one. That's a freaking tank, man. That is a freaking tank. Did you see that big devil right there? Big old brown cow. Oh, man. Whoa! Whoa! How many times do you catch a fish that pulls drag as he's jumping? He was jumping across the surface, pulling drag. Go ahead, pull him up. Pull some more. Pull some more. You ain't got nothing to get into. Well, he's got that pole back there to get into. That's what I'm talking about. I kind of probably shouldn't have done a video on this. This is not a bait that you would look at and think, yeah, I want to throw that as a Neko bait. Bro, I threw it up there at that pole, and it's sinking down, and that wave's letting it sink down, and it goes, doop! Oh, I love it. That'll bring your energy level on 10 right there. Okay, I'm ready to get this in now, so if we could... Should I net him? Should I net him, or should I hand grab him? He's not giving up. It almost feels like he's hung in something. But it's just his big old heavy butt down there. Look, he fought so hard that he come up, he's all twisted in the line. I'm gonna have to get back here and get on the low part of the boat. Oh, thick booty Jane right there. Uh-huh. Look at that. Look at, I won't hold him upside down first. I hold him upside, because that's right there is what we call bass booty. Right there on the long shots. That's a non-traditional Neko bait right there. Caught a big old nasty smallmouth on that thing. I guess they think it's a little perch or something. So, all right, you see, this is what I'm fishing with. Long shots, Neko style, a drop shot bait. Let's sit down and talk about it. How do you use it? Where to throw it? What type of equipment you need to use? What do you need to look for? You want to try to catch a big old bass. I know smallmouth like it. We found that out for sure, but I think we can catch largemouth on them. We definitely can catch spotted bass on them. Long shots to catch them. Let's talk about it. So today I'm fishing a Neko rig, which is a certain version of a wacky rig. A lot of people think it's the same thing as a wacky rig, when truthfully it's really not. It's really not the same thing as a wacky rig. It probably looks like it because the bait's hooked in the middle. If you're not familiar with a wacky rig, basically a wacky rig is a soft plastic, usually a stick bait hooked in the middle, weightless. In my opinion, all right, it's not the gospel truth, in my opinion, anytime you put a weight in the bait, it is no longer a wacky rig. It is a Neko or something else, whatever you want to call it, Neko rig. I'll show you the one I'm using. This is a long shots, and I'm using a 1/0. Actually, this is a number 2. I'm sorry, because this is a smaller bait. I'm using a number 2 hook, drop shot hook here. You can use a wacky hook, just whatever you want to use. And I've got a 1/20th ounce weight in this long shots. All right. So our hook is a number 2. 6-inch long shots is the plastic, and then I've got a 1/20th ounce Neko weights in it. If you're using Z-Man, you're better off using the Neko weights than you are any kind of traditional nail weight. The nail weight just won't go in the plastic, and furthermore, a small worm like this long shot is super narrow, very narrow, very thin plastic, which is great because it makes the bait have more action. But if a Neko, like a regular nail weight, is going to take up too much capacity inside the plastic, and it's just going to look real gunky. This Neko weight, I'm going to show it to you. The Neko weights from Z-Man, it has a really thin diameter bar, so it just rigs really nicely. It's not all bulked and jacked up, okay? I am throwing this on a braided fluorocarbon setup because this is a light bait, 1/20th ounce sinker, and then the plastic itself doesn't weigh much. It doesn't throw that great. But it's so finessey and it has such a natural action, being light like that, that I think it gives you an advantage over throwing just a traditional stick bait. So I'm using braided fluorocarbon. This is 8-pound test Strike King Pro Grade fluorocarbon. I'm using 15-pound test braid. My union or connection knot, this is a union knot, is an Alberto knot. All right, this is a new reel that Luz is going to make. This is actually a prototype in the Hyper Mag series. I'm using a 3000 series spinning reel. Then I'm going to pair that reel with my signature spinning reel. This is the 6-stick. This is one that I designed just for doing things like this. This is the only spinning rod that I use for everything. Drop shotting, Neko, wacky. What else you do with a spinning rod? Throw a swim bait, miniature swim bait. I don't know. To trim your shrubs at home, I use it for everything. Couple things that I did. I took the favorite 6-stick, just the normal 6-stick that we had at Favorite, and I just customized it a little bit to my liking. There were a few things that I felt that could really take that product to the next level. First thing I did is I changed the grip, the handle. On a spinning rod, you always want to buy a spinning rod where the reel fastens from the bottom to the top. I don't like when they fasten from the top. Reason being, depending on what brand reel you use, they have different size bracing right here on the reel. If it's bigger, that's going to push the weight of your reel around on the blank, and it just throws off the weight of it. When it screws in from the bottom, when it threads from the bottom, your reel's going to be in the same place every single time. All right, and it just holds the reel a lot better. So when we did that, we moved the foregrip up above the reel. For me, I'll hold my reels like that. A lot of guys hold it, they'll put it, you know, in between their ring finger and their, I don't know what you call it, your middle finger. I was about to say birdie finger. Sorry, but some people hold it like that. But for me, I feel like I have a lot more leverage holding my spinning reel just like that. And that's why I wanted more grip up above the reel. You can still hold it like you traditionally do like that. But for you guys that like to hold it like me, it just fits in your hand really nicely. So I changed that grip. We added a keeper for the drop shot. Obviously, there's nothing more aggravating than getting your drop shot all twisted and tied up in your rod box or in your car or wherever you keep your rods. So we added a keeper that'll hold a drop shot weight, it'll hold a Ned rig, it'll hold whatever you tie on here, a jerk bait, whatever the case may be. All right, other thing I wanted to change on this rod, this is a medium heavy power rod, 7'1". Other thing I changed on it is I made the guides one size bigger for the first 4. Reason being is a lot of us use braided fluorocarbon, and that little bit of knot, I don't care what knot you tie, I don't care if it's FG or ST or KW QR code knot, whatever you like to tie. Anytime you got a union knot, it's going to be a little bit bigger than the diameter of the line. So I increased the guide, especially the first 3. That's super important because it lets that line flow through the guides with a little less frequency. You don't hear that, you know, when you go to make a cast, you rear back, you don't hear that with my rod because you got a little bit bigger guides. And I took one guide out. All right, the reason I did that, one reason I took one of the guides out, I think there was, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think there was either 9 or 10 guides on the original 6-stick. The reason I took the guides out, I took one guide out for the Alberto knot or for using your fusion knot with braided fluorocarbon. Less guides, less chance for abrasion, right? But obviously you can't come up with a route with four guides. So I just took out one. When you take the guides off a rod, you actually change its parabolic properties, because now you see there's a little bit of resin, and they're going to use some line to tie around these guides. So the less guides it has, the more forgiving that rod will be. So it softened the rod up in the right places just a little bit. We kind of increased the distance, so you got the same amount of backbone, and when you get up here near the tip, it gets a little bit more juicy. And I needed that just for when I was using lighter line. When I was using 8-pound, 6-pound test line, I just needed to soften it up. You saw how that fish was jumping just now? See how he was thrashing around? With 6-pound, 8-pound test line, if you don't have that little bit of forgiveness in your rod tip, it ends bad. So you need that. You still need that backbone. If I need to turn one around when he's in the dock, I got it. But when I need to finesse one with 6 or 8-pound test line, taking one guide out, soften the rod up, that's why it's my special. Obviously, I showed you the bait, showed you the equipment. The most important part when you're fishing a bait like that is, where am I going to throw it, bro? I done got everything. I bought everything you told me to use. I got the baits, I got it tied on, I've tied my Alberto knot, I've tied my connection knot. Where am I going to throw it? All right, what I like to do, specifically docks. I love fishing the bait around docks. On the particular lake we have right here, this is not going to be the best for the docks that I have here, but I love fishing around anything that fish can suspend around. Bridge pilings, they obviously suspend under docks. What I'm using today is, this is a huge flat out in front of this marina you see. It's about 15 foot all the way across. Mono depth. You like that? I'm gonna hit you with a little bit of vocabulary today. And you see you've got some buoys out here. You got some sailboats out here. What those fish do, you know, almost every bass is a predator fish. And so what they'll do is anytime they get a little bit of dark area, a little bit of shade, makes them feel protected. And when they feel protected, they'll use that protection to eat whatever their food is. In this particular body of water, they're eating perch, rock bass, things like that. So they'll get under those boats. They feel hid and protected, sit right up under them. They don't even sit in the bottom, sit right up under the boat. My Neko rig hits the water, your buddy got to go have it. So it's very simple fishing. It's not very complicated. You can do the same thing with docks. It's the same principle, but we don't have docks on this particular body of water. What we have is moored boats, and we have the actual moors themselves. You'll see these little buoys out. The fish will get on those buoys because there's nothing on this entire flat. It goes for a very long time. There's nothing out here. Maybe a strand of grass here and there, but all they have to go to is these moors. Now, that doesn't mean you couldn't drag out here aimlessly and catch a fish, but the high percentage places, especially for me as a tournament fisherman, I need to be able to go somewhere and cast right where I think a fish is. These buoys and those moored boats, high percentage areas. Let me show you how I like to fish them. Very clear water. I got 15-foot visibility in this body of water that we're fishing today. So I want to maintain my distance. That's why I got the braided fluorocarbon Camo, so I can cast pretty far. See, I got a red buoy out here in front of me. I'll fish all these sailboats and everything. All I'm going to do is stay back as far as I can. I don't want the fish. Bass are curious. If he hears the boat, hears the sonar ping, most likely he'll come out of that buoy to investigate, see what's going on. You won't spook him away. He'll actually come to you. I'm just going to cast it out as close as I can to it. That buoy's got a big old concrete block that holds it down. Cast it over there to it. It's clear water. If I don't make the best cast, as long as I'm within 15 foot of that buoy, I'm probably a good enough cast. He'll see the bait. He'll come out and get it. And most of your bites are going to come on the free fall. I don't really waste a lot of time with this style of fishing. I'll cast over there to it. Bridge pollen's the same way. The best part about your cast is the free fall. I might make 2 casts if I feel like I didn't make the best cast the first time, and keep moving as that bait's sinking. The biggest thing that you can remember is to throw your line back at the bait while it's sinking. Don't hold it up high. What I like to do, especially with braid, is I'll lay my line down on the water just like that, so the wind doesn't grab it and pull the bait along. And you know, just when I think it's hitting the bottom, I'll pull it up, just check it to see if there's a fish on there. If there's not one, I'll shake it a little bit, but there's very rarely does it set down there for 15 seconds and then he decides to get it. It's almost always on the fall because the fish are suspended. Remember, they're using these moors as suspension. A bass, a 3 or 4 pound bass, doesn't realize he has 3 or 4 pounds of body behind him. And so when he covers his eye, he thinks he's hid. Fish are dumb. They're really not that smart. I mean, think about it. I'm out here fishing a purple worm. There's nothing in nature that looks like that. And he's gonna bite it. Last thing, you can see I'm moving pretty fast. This is the last thing. It's a very simple way of fishing. So there's not a lot of data points that I need to kind of get real in depth on. But the retrieve on this guy, it's almost non-existent. Like I said, I'm gonna throw it out. The most essential, important, gotta have it. You need it. Do it today. No question, non-negotiable. Let the bait fall on slack line. If it's not slack, I got a bass. Hold on, I gotta catch one. Come here. Pull some more drag, baby. Oh, it's coming up. I thought he was gonna jump there. I thought he was gonna jump. I was gonna show y'all how to retrieve the bait back, but my long shots was decimated by another. Okay. All right. Why y'all so mean? Why y'all out here trying to be gangster or something, huh? Y'all trying to be no limit soldiers? What y'all think? Y'all juvenile. There he comes up. Whoa, you gonna jump on me. Come on, bro. Let me finish telling the people how to retrieve the long shots. I just want to tell the people how to retrieve the long shots. That's all I'm trying to do. Huh? You say you want my long shots because they taste better? I never actually tasted the long shots. I bet it would taste like an hour later if you actually did taste it. Come here. They get up to the boat and they lay on their side. You think they're finished, and they do this thing like that. They do this thing where they'll keep. She's like, okay, come get me. Psych. Ah. Look at there. Long shots in his mouth. That's so good. Your most important thing that I was trying to say is your free fall. Let the bait free fall to the bottom. You can shake it once, shake it twice. Don't waste a lot of time fishing like this. Once it hits the bottom and you shake it a couple times, reel it in, move on to the next move on to the next boat, the next object of shade. Shade is your friend on this guy. Don't want to make any more videos today. I want to keep fishing. You can get all these baits right here. The long shots is actually in my drop shot kit. I guess I'm gonna have to make a smallmouth Neko kit after today. But you can find these baits at shopblat.com. You can find all these and a lot of other baits that'll help you catch a lot more fish.